Hi home cooks! Today I'm in the kitchen making homemade marshmallows. If you've never made homemade marshmallows before, this vintage recipe is a must-try. They're soft, pillowy, and full of nostalgic charm. Use them for holiday treats, inside your hot chocolate, or melted inside of s'mores. These marshmallows are packed with protein from the egg whites and can be made with maple syrup or honey for a healthier treat. This vintage marshmallow recipe makes incredibly light and fluffy marshmallows. Perfect for special desserts, holiday baking, or cozy winter drinks. All you need is a few simple ingredients for the softest, fluffiest, melt in your mouth homemade marshmallows. So let's get into the kitchen. This is how I make homemade marshmallows. To start this recipe, I'm going to prepare the pan. This is a no-bake recipe, so it isn't necessary to use an oven-proof dish. A long rectangular container like a 9 by 13 pan, or use 2 square pans like I'm doing here. Lightly grease and dust the inside with a mixture of powdered sugar and cornstarch. Using a light flavorless oil is best for this. In a pot over medium-high heat, add 3/4 of a cup of water, 2 cups of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of corn syrup. I'm using white sugar today, but this can be replaced by natural sweeteners like honey or maple syrup. Since the sugar makes up the main flavor of this recipe, these marshmallows will take on the same flavor and aroma of the type of sweetener that you're using. Stir to dissolve the sugar and then allow it to boil until it reaches 240 degrees Fahrenheit or 115 degrees Celsius. This is called soft ball. This step requires caution. Cooking sugar is very hot and can easily burn you if it touches your skin. And don't let this step intimidate you. You can do this step with or without a candy thermometer, which I'll explain a little later. Meanwhile, in a small pot over low heat, sprinkle 3 packages or 3 tablespoons of powdered gelatin into 3/4 of a cup of water. No need to cook or boil this, I'm just heating it to melt the gelatin into the water. After it's a clear, uniform mixture, you can remove it from the heat and set it aside to cool slightly. While I'm working on these other steps, I'm still checking on my sugar mixture. No need to stir it, it's just going to continue to cook until it reaches the proper temperature. Now in a large bowl, I'm going to whip 2 egg whites until they hold a stiff peak. You can use a stand mixer for this or just handheld beaters. My gelatin is ready now, so I'm going to whip this into the egg whites. Now I'm going to check on the sugar. If you have a candy thermometer and would like to use this for making homemade marshmallows, make sure to keep the bottom of the thermometer in the liquid and not touching the bottom of the pot. This could give you a false reading. But you can also do this without any special equipment at all. Instead of a thermometer, drip a little bit of the cooked sugar mixture into a glass of cold water. Fish the little lump out with your fingers, and if it can mold into a squishy soft ball, the sugar is ready. If it's still quite loose, continue to cook the mixture and then check it again. I typically use both methods to make sure my sugar is cooked to the proper consistency. Once the soft ball stage is reached with the sugar, slowly pour this into the egg white and gelatin mixture while it's continuously whipping. Continue to whip the mixture until it's a thick, fluffy cloud that holds its shape. This can take several minutes. Then you can spread the marshmallow mixture into the prepared pan or pans and set it aside for several hours to solidify. If you want to add any decorations to the top, do that before it fully sets. I'm making mine during the holidays, so of course I'm going to use some festive sprinkles. Once it's set, it's ready to cut into bite-sized cubes. And these cubes can again be dusted with the cornstarch and powdered sugar mixture to prevent any sticking. This soft and pillowy homemade marshmallow recipe is a vintage classic that's definitely worth giving a try. With airy whipped egg whites for that light melt-in-your-mouth texture and taste. These marshmallows are way better than store-bought. They're perfect to use in hot chocolate, for toasting and sandwiching into s'mores, or as a quick treat just as they are. And as always, you can find a link to the full written recipe in the description box below. Enjoy! If you're a fan of deliciously simple vintage recipes and old-fashioned skills, then you'll want to check out this next video. Thanks for stopping by.